Thank you very much to welcome you to Medzone African Motives, the channel that you know very well that is there for you. Is going to respond positively to your needs. So make sure that you are going to share with those who are concerned, those who are interested, and make sure that you are as well going to hit the subscription button. So without wasting time, let's come to the business of today, whereby we're going to talk about business studies grade 12 under social responsibility. Under social responsibility. So we are first going to talk about the meaning of social responsibility. We're going to talk about the meaning of social responsibility. So we are told here that the meaning of social responsibility is an ethical viewpoint that says every individual or organization has an obligation to benefit society as a whole. So now, as we are told that it is an ethical viewpoint, meaning to say when you're talking about ethical viewpoint, we are talking about the righteousness. We are talking about the right. We are talking about the righteousness. We are talking about the right of the organization to give back to the community. That is when we are talking about the righteously. Of the organization to give back to the community. So when we're talking about the ethical viewpoint, we are talking about the right. We are talking about the right and responsible. The right and responsible. The right and responsible of the company or an individual or organization, as we are saying, that it has an obligation to benefit the society as a whole. It has an obligation to benefit, meaning it has to fulfill the responsibility. Both individuals or employees or the organizations, they have to fulfill the responsibility of making sure that they are going to benefit what? The society. That means to fulfilling responsibility. Fulfilling the responsibility. Fulfilling the responsibility. Responsibilities. So that is what you are trying to say when you say it is an ethical point that says every individual organization has an obligation to benefit society as a whole, meaning individual organizations have a right and responsible also to fulfill the responsibility of making sure that they benefit what? The society as a whole. Also, we are told that the responsibility of every citizen or individual organization to contribute towards the well-being of the community. Meaning we are talking about the welfare of the community. The welfare of the community. The welfare of the community. Making sure that there is going to be a quality of life in the community. The community is going to be very happy. There will be a happiness. The health is going to be good. Also, they are saying, and the environment which they live, and the environment which they live. So it means it is the responsible of every citizen organization to make sure that they are going to contribute to the well-being of the community and the environment. Whereby when you talk of the environment, they are going to make sure that they reduce what? Waste. Reducing of waste. Reducing of waste. Reducing of waste. We can talk about conserving natural resources, investing on renewable energy. That is how they can make sure that the environment is going to be protected. So now moving on, we are now going to talk about relationship or link between triple bottom line and social responsibility. So this is where now we are going to talk about the triple bottom line. So when you are talking about the triple bottom line, we are going to talk about profit or economic, people or social, and employment. These are what we are going to talk about. So with profit or economy, we are told that triple bottom line means that business should not only focus on profit. They should not only focus on profit or charge a high price, but should also invest in corporate social responsibility. So that means that business should prioritize social responsible alongside profitability. They should make sure that they prioritize social responsible alongside with profitability. That's what the business should do. Business should make sure that they prioritize social responsible, whereby they are alongside what? Alongside profitability. That is what they are to do. Also, you're told business should not make a profit at the expense of its community. Meaning they first have to make sure that they are going to try by all means that they are going to give back to the community and not only being only profit oriented. So that is what it means. Now we move on to social. So with people or social, this is what we are told here, that business operations should not have negative impact on or exploit people or employees or customers or community. So when we're talking about business operation, we are talking about business activities. We are talking about business activities. So we are saying business activities or business practices should not have a negative impact on or exploit people or employees or customers on a community. So that is what they should do. Business should engage or invest in a sustainable community programs or projects that will benefit or uplift the communities. So they have to have what you call long viability. They have to have what you call long viability. Meaning to say, the projects that the business or the employees are going to invest in the community should stay for a long time, should be there for a long time. Also, we are told now it improves the lifestyle or quality of life of their human resources and employees. So that is that. So when we so now we have to move on to planet. We are to move on to planet. Where now we are told business should not exhaust resources or harm the environment for production or profit purposes. So with this one, under the planet, this is where we are trying to say business should implement, that is where the business should implement or recycle or come up with the recycling programs and trying to minimize what? Trying to minimize waste. So business should not exhaust resources or harm the environment for production or profit purposes. Make sure now the environment is going to be very safe. The environment is going to be very safe for employees, for community as well. So for you to make the environment to be safe, that is where now you're going to try by all means to implement recycling programs as well as minimizing waste. Whereby you're going to make use of what? Renewable energy product, like we're talking about solar panels, solar water, like that. So that is how you can make sure that you're not going to exhaust resources and or harm the environment. Now we are moving on when now it talks about they may support energy efficient, eco-friendly products or production methods. That is that. So even on that point, that's when we can talk about the as well as trying by all means to do what? To minimize environmental impact. So they will try to minimize environmental impact. Also, they will try by all means to use renewable energy product. Like I've talked about the solar panel, the solar water heaters, those are very important that they can go for. Also, they can recycle or reuse waste. That is where now we're told about packaging from recycled material. Hope we are still together. Now we are to move on. So now we are given the scenario whereby there is an extract that we are given and we are to answer the questions on that. The example is socio-economic issues from the scenario, whereby now we are asked to, from the extract, to try to find out the socio-economic issue as well as the motivation. So we are told that Sawa Chicken Farm specializes in selling live and slaughtered chickens in a local township. They are saying some of SCF employees may stay absent from work on a regular basis due to illness caused by not taking ARV treatment as prescribed. So now this become what? A socio-economic issue. This becomes a socio-economic issue. This becomes a socio-economic issue. But now we are to know the socio-economic issue, because this one is an issue, because we can motivate our socio-economic issue by this motivation. So our socio-economic issue is what? HIV and AIDS. HIV and AIDS. So the motivation is some of SCF employees are staying absent from the work, which is this one. Also, now we are told the majority in the community are not economically active. So it means the socio-economic issue is unemployment. So if they cannot contribute towards the economy of the country, it means there is a high unemployment in that particular region or country. So our motivation would be the majority in the community are not economically active. Also, we are told that The majority in the community are not economically, some are unable to satisfy their basic needs. Now we're talking about the hunger, poverty as a economic issue. Then the motivation is some are unable to satisfy the basic needs. Now we move on to other points. We make sure that we are still together. Make sure that you are still listening very attentively. Now we are going to talk about the strategies to deal with HIV and AIDS, unemployment, as well as the poverty. So we want to come up with the strategies to deal with those strategies to deal with HIV and AIDS, unemployment, as well as poverty. So the first one that we are to deal with is an HIV and AIDS. Now we are told about the counseling programs or train counselors to provide infected and affected persons or employees, those who are infected or affected emotionally. So we can talk about whereby now we're going to come up with the counseling programs where we are going to educate people about HIV and AIDS, where we are going to try by all means to give education about HIV and AIDS. Okay, we are talking about the counseling programs as well as training counselors to provide infected and affected persons or employees. So this is where we are going to make sure that those people who are emotionally affected, they are going to be helped. Those who are infected and affected by the HIV and AIDS. So we need the counselors who are going to make sure those emotionally affected people are going to be helped. So now we are moving on to another point where now we are told about develop the counseling programs for infected and affected people, persons or employees. So you come up with those programs that are going to teach the affected and infected persons about the HIV transmission, how to prevent it, as well as the treatment. Where then we can move on to conduct workshops on HIV/AIDS programs campaigns. So it's very important that there are workshops because those workshops are very helpful because this is whereby now the infected and affected people, they are now going to get what? The education about what? The HIV and AIDS. This is whereby there is going to be HIV education into the curriculum where they're going to learn more about that. Then we have the rollout antiretroviral treatment programs, which is RT for the infected employees. This is whereby now we are going to provide free or affordable medication to people living with what? With HIV and AIDS. They're going to get the medical, those people who are living with HIV and AIDS. Then we encourage employees to join what? The support groups. So there in the support group, this is whereby they're offering emotional and social support to reduce stigma to those people who are living with what? With HIV and AIDS. That is how the support groups are going to be very much helpful. Then develop strategies to deal with stigma and discrimination. So you come up with what? With the strategies upon how you're going to try by make sure that people who are living with the HIV and AIDS, they are going to see themselves as well as important, as well as not being discriminated to other people. So also we are told to participate in the HIV and AIDS prevention programs implemented in the community. So it is very important that the businesses, the employees, individuals are going to participate in the prevention programs that are implemented to make sure that the HIV and AIDS is going to be prevented. Support non-governmental organization as well as community-based organization, which is non-governmental organization, HIV and AIDS initiatives. Now we are moving on to another strategy whereby now we are going to deal with unemployment. How are we going to deal with unemployment? How are we going to deal with unemployment? So with unemployment, they say provide skills development programs through learnerships. So let's make sure that there are going to be learnerships where our people are going to be equipped with knowledge and skills so that they can be able to access what? Jobs. Skills and development programs are going to make sure that those people are as well going to be accommodated. Now, they will as well be able to access jobs. Offer bursaries to the community to improve the level of education. So the organizations are to offer what? The bursaries to the community so that the people in the community are going to improve so that they as well going to be able to access jobs, because once they find themselves with necessary skills to do the job, that will be easy for them to as well earn income. Create jobs for members of the community, whereby you are coming up with the projects, corporate, social investment. When now you come up with the projects, such projects are going to help what? The community or people who are living in the community are going to be able to get jobs. Provide entrepreneurial programs that can promote self-employment. So make sure that there are programs that are going to encourage people to start their own businesses. That is very important. Support existing small business to create more employment opportunities. So as a large business, make sure, or as customers, let us make sure that even the small business, we are supporting them so that they will grow. And once they grow, that is whereby now there will be employment opportunities. So hope we are together on that one. Now we are moving on to strategies to deal with poverty. Strategies to deal with poverty. Strategies to deal with poverty. So with this one, we are told that invest in a young starting small medium enterprise. Invest in a young starting small medium enterprise that can be a business competitor, buyer or supplier. So as a large companies, make sure that you invest in a young starting small medium enterprises so that we can try by all means to reduce poverty so that those businesses, they can grow as well. Attract best employees by being socially responsible and offering the best volunteering programs. So with the programs that the organizations are going to offer in the community, that will attract the best employees, competent employees who are going to work towards the common goals of the organization. So if the organization is socially responsible, the employees or competent employees would want to work for such organization because of a good image that the business is going to create by being socially responsible. Support poverty alleviation programs that are offered by the government. So support poverty alleviation programs. Those programs that are trying to alleviate what? The poverty. So let us make sure that we support them. Donate money or food parcel to local news. So let's make sure that we're going to donate money, food for those people who are struggling. So we donate it to the local news, that non-organizational, so that it can go and help those people who are struggling. So now we are moving on to ways in which business could contribute to the well-being of employees. Ways in which business could contribute to the well-being of employees. Pay fair wages or salaries to the workers based on the nature of their work and the prevailing economic conditions in the market. So pay fair wages and salaries to the employees. That's how you contribute to the well-being of the employees. Make sure that they are going to get the good compensation based on the nature of the work that they are doing. Also, the working conditions should include safety, medical, or curtail facilities and benefits like housing, leave, retirement as well. So working conditions, make sure that the employees are going to be safe at workplace. Make sure that they are going to be safe. There are medicals, there are benefits that they're going to get in the workplace. Now we move on to another point. Pay fair bonuses based on the business earnings as acknowledgement for hard work or commitment and the efforts that the employees put. So based on the business earnings, if the business is doing very well, so the business is not supposed to be greedy. Just pay the fair bonuses to those hard-working employees. Provide for employees participation in decision-making that affects them. So make sure that you are going to involve your employees into decision-making. You're going to do what you call decentralized decision-making, where you're going to welcome the suggestions, the opinions of your employees. And by so doing, they are as well going to feel valued in the workplace. Provide recreational facilities for employees. So make sure that at workplace there are recreational facilities for the employees where they can go and just try to enjoy. Offer annual physical or medical assessments to workers. So make sure that you do that regularly so that you see that the workers are still fit to do the work. Make Taruma debriefing or counseling or assistance available to any employee who requires these services. Offer financial assistance in the case of any hardship caused by unexpected medical costs. So as an organization, make sure that you do or you offer the financial assistance in the case of any hardship caused by unexpected medical costs. Allow flexible working hours to enhance productivity, which is very important. Offer support programs for employees infected or affected by HIV and AIDS. Make sure that you are going to support such employees. They are as well human beings. Now we are moving on. To another point where now we are going to talk about where we are moving on to other points. CSR aims to create a safe working environment for employees. So a safe working environment for employees. The well-being and the welfare of employees should always be taken into consideration. CSR programs and activities the business undertakes to contribute positively to the community in which the business operates. CSR may take the form of monetary donation to support local organization, of which is Very important. Now we come to the components of the social responsibility. So we know when you're talking about the social responsibility, we are talking about the environment, which we always say, make sure that the environment is not going to be harmed. Ethical corporate social investment, where the organizations are going to invest in the community where their business operate. Health and safety of the employees, as well as the customers. Corporate governance, that is when we're talking about the organization businesses that are going to give back to the community. Business ethics, whereby we are saying the business should make sure that they are going to do right and as well be responsible for the community that the business is established in. Employment equity, supply chain, distribution channel, customers, and community. Those are the components of social responsibility that we are talking about. Now we are moving on to the impact of corporate social responsibility on business. The impact of social responsibility on business. So we want to know the advantages of a CSR or CSI on a business. How do business benefit on corporate social responsibility as well as corporate social investment? Now we are told that it may attract experienced employees. It may attract experienced employees or increase the pool of skilled labor, which could increase productivity. So this means that because the business is going to have a good image, because the business is going to have a good image, where they, as well as the reputation, good reputation. So they are going to attract competent employees. They are going to attract those people with necessary skills to do the job. Because the well-being and the welfare of employees is taken into account. So it means employees will want to work for such organizations where they are taken care of. So it attracting experienced employees, it means it's going to increase what? Productivity. Now moving on to another point, positive or improved image as the business looks after employees or conducts itself in a responsible way. So it means the improved image as the business looks after the employees. So it means this will motivate what? The employees will be motivated. They will be motivated because they are looked after. And that will enable them to do what? To increase profit. That will increase what? Productivity. And the business will enjoy the profits. Business may have competitive advantage, resulting in good publicity and an improved reputation. So business is going to do what? Have more customers. The customers are going to do what? They are going to make repeat purchases. They are going to make repeat purchases because of the business which does what? Who does corporate social responsibility. That enables them to have what? Competitive advantage. That enables them to have a competitive advantage to other business. So it means the customers are going to come in numbers to such a business. So that is why we're saying it will have a competitive advantage. Customers will make what? A repeat purchases. Then it's going to promote customer loyalty, which is going to result in more sales. It's going to promote customer loyalty. So customer loyalty, it means the customers are going to be loyal to that organization. They are always going to come to that organization, and that will improve what? The sales. That is that. Corporate social investment projects may be used as a marketing strategy to promote their products. So when the organization is investing in the community where it is operating, it is trying to promote the products and services. So by so doing, when they are doing corporate social responsibility, it means they are promoting their products and services. They are promoting their products and services. They are promoting their products and services. That is a marketing strategy. So when you do those CSI projects, this is how the business as well market itself. Because customers will want to buy from the business which gives back to them as well. So that is a marketing strategy. The business is going to enjoy the goodwill support of the community because of positive perception. Because of the positive perception from the community. So the business is going to enjoy the support of the community. The community is going to support such a business which is giving back to them. Also, we are told that CSI projects promote teamwork within the business. That means it fosters collaboration. That means it fosters collaboration. It fosters collaboration between different departments. Foster collaboration between different departments. So that is why they will promote what? A teamwork. CSI helps to attract investors because of increased profits and income. Because of increased profits and income, the higher earnings and revenue. We are talking about the higher earnings and revenue. So the business that is doing well attracts what? The investors. Because investors, they are always looking for the return on investment. They want to invest to a business which is not doing well, which is struggling. So they will go for business which is making a very good profits. So the corporate social investment helps to attract what? Investors. So the business which is putting this into practice, it means they're going to have more profits, and then they will attract what? The investors. Gives the business tax advantages, such as tax reduction or rebates. So it means the organizations, the business can claim what? Tax deductions. They can claim tax deductions. They can claim tax deductions. Business can claim what? Tax deduction. Those organizations that are doing what? Corporate social responsibility, they can claim tax reductions. They can claim tax reductions. That is the advantage that they're going to get by making sure that they are doing corporate social investment. Assist in solving socio-economic issues. We are talking about social challenges. We are talking about social challenges. Social challenges. We are talking about the social challenges of social challenges like poverty, unemployment, and etc. So the corporate social responsible, they assist in solving such issues. The government is less likely to enforce issues through legislation to businesses that voluntarily participate in corporate social investment. So the government is not going to be hard on such organizations that are participating in corporate social investment. That is that. Now we move on. Now we come to another point. Now we are going to talk about employees feel as if they are making difference in the workplace because the employees as well are practicing or are also participating in corporate social investment. So they feel that they are making difference in working for the business. That is that. It helps to retain staff or lower staff turnover. As employees, health and safety are considered. That is true that you are going to keep or the staff are going to remain with the business because the staff members will be happy. Their health and safety is being considered. So they will not want to leave such organization. Improves the health of its employees. It improves the health of its employees through the focused corporate social projects. Through the focused corporate social projects. Business become more community-based by working closely with the community to roll out skills development projects. So that is as simple as that. Now we are to move on to the negatives or disadvantages of corporate social responsibility on a business. Now we are on the drawbacks, the disadvantages of corporate social responsibility on business. They are saying business may not be supported or customers may not buy their product service, resulting in a decrease in sales. Though they will be investing in the community where they are based or where their business is operating, they may find a challenge whereby the customers are not even buying their product and service, and that will make their sales to decline. Small, medium enterprise find it difficult to implement corporate social investment. Why are they finding it difficult? Is because they are having little profits. They are small business. It means they don't have much profits. So they are with little profits. So they won't want to part ways with the little profits that they are making. So it will become difficult for them to implement corporate social investment because of little profit. Because of little profit or their earnings are very little. Detailed reports must be drawn up, which can be time consuming. Detailed reports must be drawn up. So it means this is going to take away their time from doing their core business. This is going to take the organization's time, the organization time, organization time from doing their core business, from doing their core business. So it means most of the time they're going to spend time drawing the reports for corporate social responsibilities. So this will consume time, whereby now this is going to take away their time from doing their core businesses, because now they are to draw up the reports for this corporate social responsibility, and now they are to concentrate on their core businesses. So that is what it means. Now we are moving on. Now we are moving on, where now we are told that social spending, where now we are told the social spending reduces business economic efficiency, which makes it less competitive. Social spending reduces business economic efficiency, which make it less competitive. Why? Because they are going to part ways with some of their profits to fund the projects. So they are going to part ways with some of their profits to fund the projects. So it means they are not going to have enough money to make the improvements into their business, into their core business. So that will make them to be less competitive, because now they are going to invest some of their profits to these communities. So the money that they were supposed to make the improvements, advance their production, now is going to be taken to the CSI. So that will make them to be less competitive. Social involvement is funded from business profits, which could have been used to benefit customer or reduce prices. So the social involvement is funded from business profits. That is true. We know that. So that money, maybe it was going to be helpful to reduce the prices of the customer, or to the benefit of the customer. So that is that. CSI activities distract business focus from its core business functions. That is true, because now you are to multitask. Now you are to do CSI activities and core business. Now it will end up distracting the business to do their core business functions. That is what it means. Business find it difficult to adhere to legislation governing CSI. Why are they finding it difficult? It's because of now they are to do what? They are to take some of their profits. Now they are to take their time to these CSI projects. So they will find it difficult sometimes to adhere to that legislation. It can increase financial risk as programs cost money and may impact negatively on profits. That is that the business it can increase financial risk as programs cost money. We know the programs are going to cost money, so that will impact negatively on the profits of the business. Because if you are to invest or you are to give back to the community, it means now you are going to spend. It is difficult to accurately measure the effectiveness of the social investment. That is true. It is going to be difficult to see that the sales that you are getting are from the investments that you made to the community. Because customers may come at their own will, not because that you give back to them. So it's difficult to measure the effectiveness of the social investment. It's not going to be easy to say, this sales that I'm getting right now is because of the giving back to the community. It is not easy to determine the exact needs of the community, which may result in fruitless expenditure on CSI. So it is difficult to determine the needs of the communities. So the organization may end up not responding to the needs. So that expenses will be useless, not useful. If the organization spent on the projects which are not responding to the needs of the community. Most managers are not trained and lack experience to handle social programs. So most managers are not trained, they lack experience to handle social programs. So they might fail to implement what? CSI or CSR projects. It was going to be difficult for them to implement such if they found themselves with necessary skills to handle social programs. Employees may spend more time working on CSI projects instead of focusing on their core business. So it takes time, like we said earlier on, so that employees may spend time working on CSI projects, now failing to do their core duties. Providing goods or services that meet the needs of consumers is, according to some stakeholders, already socially responsible. Get this point clearly? Providing goods and services that are going to meet the needs of the consumer. According to some of the stakeholders, it is already socially responsible. So they are going to find it not necessary to also give back to the community, because they are saying them responding to the needs of the consumers, they are social responsible. So they don't see the need for them to do what? To also do some investment on the community. Because they are saying they are socially responsible by just responding to the needs of the consumers. Some shareholders may receive less dividends as some profits are spent on CSI. That is true. The profits, which are the dividends, they may come less because now the other profits are now on a CSI. Some shareholders or stakeholders may withdraw their support from business as they feel that social issues should be the government responsibility. So they can withdraw themselves from, they can now try by all means to withdraw themselves as they are saying social issues should be the government responsibility, not theirs. Now let's come to the impact of CSI on the community. Impact of CSR on a community. So here, first, we are going to talk about the advantages. We are going to talk about the advantages, where it says socio-economic issues are attended to, which will improve the welfare of the community. Socio-economic issues are attended to, which will improve the welfare of the community. So it means you're going to improve the standard of living of the economy, of the community. We are going to improve standard living of the community. That is that. By so doing, It means we'll be improving the standard living of the community. Also, we are told that training opportunities in the community increase the possibility of appointments members of the community, whereby now there will be educational programs that are going to be offered. Will be educational programs that are going to be offered. So people will now be equipped with knowledge and skills, so they will now stand a chance to be appointed in the community. Implementing developmental programs in the community improves entrepreneurial skills and communities. That is implementing developmental programs, whereby now we are talking about the entrepreneurial skills of communities. So it means now people will become their own boss. People will now start their own businesses, which is very important. That programs will help in that. Provision of bursaries encourages communities to improve their skills. Provision of bursaries encourages communities to improve their skills, meaning they are going to be able to further their studies. They will be able to further their studies. It is going to be easy for them to further their studies. That is that. They will be able to further their studies because of the bursaries that they are getting from the organization or those other stakeholders. The standard of living of the community is uplifted. Quality of life of community is improved. The standard of living of the community is uplifted. So it's uplifted, or quality of life of communities is improved. That is where when you're talking about the economic stability, where there will be what? The employment will be employment, and people will be able to access jobs, and now their quality of life will be improved. Better educational facilities are established in poor communities. So it means people now will be able to access what? Knowledge and skills. They will access knowledge and skills. They will access knowledge and skills. The provision of medical infrastructure improves the health of the communities. Now we move on to the drawbacks, the negative side of this impact of CSR on the community. The negative or disadvantage of CSR on community. Now we are told that businesses are not always equipped to address social problems. So meaning to say, the businesses sometimes they are not going to have what resources to address social problems, or not expertise, or they will not have what? Resources to address social problems. So they will find themselves with necessary skills to do that, to implement that CSR. So that is that. So they will fail to help the community, or they will not have enough resources to do that. We can talk about financial resource. So that is that. Communities tend to depend on CSR programs and struggle to take their own initiatives. So the communities, they are now going to want to depend on external support. So now they will want to depend on external support. depend on external support, whereby now they will be depending on CSR programs rather than taking ownership or driving their own developments. So rather than taking the ownership and driving their own developments, they will be now depending on corporate social programs, which is a disadvantage. Distribution of scarce resources to selected beneficiaries in the community may cause problems such as discrimination. Discrimination. So this is where now they are going to have what? Unfair treatment now. We'll have what? Unfair treatment. We have unfair treatment or favoritism. This will cause what? Favoritism. So because of scarce resource, so now that will lead to unfair treatment or favorism, where others are going to benefit while others are not. That is a problem where there are scarce resources to selected beneficiaries. Some business only participate in CSR initiatives to raise profit and not to really care for the community in which they operate. That is that. So they are now going to become profit oriented. So they are going to participate in CSR only because they want to make profit, not because they are taking care of what? Of the community. Business cannot meet the longer term needs of the society. Business cannot deliver sustainable social programs. So because they are putting more focus on their long-term goal of their core business, because their focus now is going to be on their core businesses. So that is why it's going to be difficult for them to have to meet the long-term needs of the society, because now they as well have their long-term goals that they want to achieve for their core businesses. Hope we are together on that. The benefits of the programs may not filter to the intended person within the community. Spending money on CSR programs means the business has to recover expenses through higher prices. So they will want to recover the expenses that they incurred when they were doing corporate social responsibility. Then they will charge higher prices trying to recover the expenses, which is now going to have a negative impact on the economy. So this is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for your time. Let us make sure that we are going to share with those who are concerned, and we are going to hit the subscription button.